Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is going to be for Only Murders in the Building, the Season 1 finale. And wow, what a finale. I was hoping they would stick the landing, and they did. This was one of my most favorite episodes of the entire season. It wrapped everything up with a nice bow and helped lead things into next season by almost thinking that they had this plan from the very beginning. They probably did. They probably knew they would get a second season, and if they didn't, they would have just left it hanging out in the air like a matzo ball in the sky. But we've got our murderer. I'll say it in a second, just to get any people that possibly haven't watched it yet so far out of the way. But I will say that this was a satisfying conclusion to a very satisfying season for me, and I enjoyed pretty much every moment of this first season, and I'm very excited to see where this show goes next. And I'm going to break down this whole episode, explain the ending a little bit, and talk about what I hope to see for season 2, and basically just go over all my thoughts about this episode. And I may be back again either later this evening, or I might be pre-recording something to play at a later date with my good buddy King Baby Duck. I said baby, but I'm still not awake. King Baby Duck, who unfortunately has had to work during this stretch. I was going to put this off until later this evening, but I've been doing all of the rest of these at around this time of day, which is around 10 to 11 a.m. right after I watched the episode. And once I watched it, I couldn't hesitate my excitement to get out here and come and talk. Wait, that's many different things. Come out here. I shouldn't have said come. I think I just said come instead of come out here. I got really excited. I came, and then I needed to come out here. But no, I got really excited watching the episode, and I needed to come out right away to kind of share my immediate thoughts. But I'm, of course, not alone. I'm never alone. I'm always lucky enough to have some beautiful, some amazing, not Joe Dirtylocks, he's not with us today, a lot of really beautiful people. The live mother! Flippin' chat. Okay, great to see the live motherfucking chat in the live chat section. There's a little bit of a redundancy here, but when I wake up and before I have my vitamins T, H, and C, there is an element of redundancy to my babblery, so here we go. I'm excited to talk about this episode. I'm excited to break it down and get into everything that happened here. So if you haven't watched any of Only Murders in the Building and you do not want to be spoiled about what has happened in this season, who the murderer is, and all of that fun hullabaloo, all that fun Hulu, make sure you block your eardrums, you wait, or maybe you don't care and you're here just to listen to my silly babblery in the afternoon and wake your ass up or something. I don't know. Either way, this is your last warning about the spoilers on who the murderer is in season 1 of Only Murders in the Building. You ready? Is everyone ready? Let's play a sad song. Sad song. Everybody, are you ready? Are you ready for this? We have to have a serious talk here, folks, about the murderer and about how murder is not right. You should never murder someone in your building. I don't care how much they piss you off and dump you. No, but the murderer, this is your last stupid warning. The murderer for Only Murders in the Building season 1 is, in fact, Jan. Jan is Steve Martin Brazos's girlfriend through part of the season, or our bassoon player, if you've watched earlier parts of the season. Everything that got led into the events of the end of last episode. Basically, if you watched last episode and you haven't watched this episode yet and you're still watching me, you basically get your answers at the end of last episode. The beginning half of this episode is dedicated to making sure you believe, or that they show you that everything that was discovered in the last episode is actually factual. Jan is a sketchball. Brazos kind of knows she's a sketchball, but we get a little quick shell game going on, which I like. We see a lot of Martin Short and Selena Gomez at the beginning part of Mabel and Oliver figuring it out through a different means and figuring that they need to tell Oliver. Tell Brazos. And then most of the episode is dealing with just everyone having a little Keystone Cops kind of situation where everyone's not in the same place at the same time, and eventually it all comes together. This episode does a few things that just incredibly impress me, and the series incredibly impresses me. But somehow they made this episode hilarious, scary, and intense all at the same time. That's been their biggest strong point for me throughout the entire season, is multiply juggling all these balls of different styles. And this episode is all of it encompassed into one half an hour episode. They made me feel scared for Steve Martin's character at times, and at other times for other characters. They made me laugh my living ass off several times with Steve Martin and Martin Short hijinks, with just the hijinks of the setup of what was going on in the scene. I'll get into it when I break down the episode beat for beat for the most part, but the part where Steve Martin is poisoned and he can't move and he can't talk and he's trying to use his cell phone, and then all the people in the building think he's drunk and they all just keep coming into the elevator. I literally lost it and had like a hard giggle. I had a cackle, like a literal cackle giggle. And I'd say that's the thing about this series. I don't think I've had too many points where I have had like out of controllable laughter, but I'm constantly cackling at this series. And I think that's a credit to it. I don't think it's trying to make me hard laugh. I mean, I think any comedy is kind of trying to make you hard laugh. But I think what I enjoy so much about the series is it touches upon all those different styles and different genre points at different parts when the series needs to give you what it needs to give you. You know, it's like a lover that sometimes pounds you hard or sometimes rides you hard, and then sometimes it's soft and romantic. Like, you got to be situational, and this series really knows how to pound you. Like, it pounds you across the face with the right kind of I gotta stop. The right kind of stroke game, but it really does get you right and gives you what you need when you want it. At least for me, it does. It gives me that happy feeling, like the satisfied feeling from lots of different kinds of avenues of television entertainment. So for the most part, I've enjoyed this season. Is it for everyone? Which is often my question that I put out here. Is every series that I'm talking about for everyone? No, it's not. But if you were into this, for me anyways, drinking the Kool-Aid, feeling it, going through the whole series, it gave me exactly what I wanted with the finish. And I could have easily come out here and been a douchebag and be like, I fucking hated this. This was horrible. I've done it before. Usually when that happens, I don't do anything. Because as much as I enjoy talking about shitty stuff, I much prefer talking about stuff that excites me. I saw an example of that in the last couple of weeks with the Many Saints of of Newark. I designed a thumbnail. I created an event. I was ready to go live right after that premiered on HBO the night before its premiere. You know, like the Joe Dirty Locks argument. When it premiered at midnight or 3 a.m, I was up. I stayed up to watch it. I watched it through. I decided, I don't want to talk about this. This wasn't what I hoped it to be. Whether it was good or bad or indifferent, it didn't turn into what I wanted it to be. I fell into the trap a couple of times with different shows that Joe and I were built up, that we're excited to talk about, excited to come out here and do podcasts about. And then when we finally get to them, they're horse shit, and then we're stuck doing it. So going into this final episode, I feared the worst, but expected the best. I hoped that it would be a great conclusion to the series, and that gave me what I wanted. But I was fully prepared to either come out here and say, it didn't quite stick the landing, or whatever. I think a couple of episodes ago I said it wasn't my favorite episode of the series. So, I mean, I'm not someone that's going to immediately glorify a series because I've been following it all year. It legitimately gave me television satisfaction this morning. I woke up, I turned it in, was distracted, somewhat awake, somewhat asleep, and I watched the episode, and it gave me everything I needed it to give me for this series. I wanted it all, and I got it. I was just going to play Veruca Salt. I want it now, Daddy. Because I need to distract myself for a second. So that's my review, and I'm sticking to it. Everyone, thank you so much. This has been the Issues Program. Good night. You're still here? Okay. Well, we got to do more. We got to talk more about this damn series. And I also want to add that I'm not alone. I have the live motherfucking chat with me, as I said. But if you want to get your thoughts in on this final episode of Only Murders in the Building, you can do that at 781-990-8509. Again, that's 781-990-8509. You can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can also leave me a text message if for whatever reason I don't get your live chat and you want to make sure you get your thought in about Only Murders in the Building right now. Feel free to do that. Also, if you're watching this later, feel free to leave me a voicemail or a text about the series way after the time that this airs. I will just play it on my next show that I do. That's more of a general topic kind of thing. And also, as I mentioned earlier, myself and my friend King Baby Duck will be getting together this evening, just even for a little bit, to help me test something technically wise to help improve the podcast, and then also go over his thoughts on this final season. Then I'm either going to release that special for patrons or for temporarily and then release it to everyone later is probably what I'll do. But it will be a follow-up to this with a discussion with a friend. I've been trying, like as I mentioned, I've been trying to get him on the show all year, and we've been having timing issues. So, without any further ado to you and you. It's fucking horrible. Everyone, it's time for the recap! Well, shit. Let's see in the live motherfucking chat. I only saw up to episode 6, but don't mind the spoilers. Thank you, Real YT. Gonna guess Selena or Steve. No AK, but we did have someone connected to Steve. It ended up being Steve's girlfriend was the murderer. Spill the damn beans, AK says. Do it. Great to see AK watching the live motherfucking chat. It wasn't me. Bowfinger is a masterpiece. I often talk about that. I think it has two of the most talented people of all time in it. I've talked about this a little bit before, and I am going to do a review or a video like this at some point in time. That's basically going to be about who are some of the most talented people, in my mind, to ever be in Hollywood. Multi-talented. And I think Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy, spoiler alert, are both very high near that list. And to see them both in one movie together like that is really, really amazing. Okay, so Bowfinger is a masterpiece. Great to see AK, though, in the live chat, as always. I stayed up to see You Season 3, and I hated it. I just recently watched You Season 3 as well. I will talk about it at some point in time. Probably not in a full podcast just about that, but I think this Sunday... I was supposed to do something this past Sunday, but after the half season of The Walking Dead, Joe and I both needed a little bit of a break. And, excuse me. But next Sunday, we're going to be back, and I'm going to be mentioning, I don't think Joe would have seen it, but I'm definitely going to be mentioning You Season 3. You Season 3. And also, we'll be talking a little bit about Squid Game and maybe some other stuff as well. So look out for that this coming Sunday. And spoiler alert, I wasn't exactly excited about Season 4 of You either. We'll get into that. I think they could have... Just like this series where I say they stuck the ending really well, I think You Season 4 had an opportunity, Season 3, had an opportunity to conclude things maybe in a positive place, and they chose not to. They chose to do something else that I won't talk about here. but we'll get into that next time. Okay. I swear, I half expect Phil to slide across the floor past the camera in his socks, in his drawers at some point. In this new apartment, AK, it's certainly going to be possible at some point. You never can tell. Granted, I don't want many people to go blind. No one wants to see me. I'm going to have to be wearing a long shirt of some kind. No one wants to see any of that. just finished. Oh, Alex, thank you so much. We got Alex in the live chat who tuned in this morning once I put this event live, who, well, I gotta be honest. Partially, you know, Alex keeps me honest in the sense of like, listen, you're going live soon. You got to give us a warning here, dude. So I specifically went out this morning and before I even watched the episode, I set up my event and all that crap. And I set up my, you know, the notes, the pictures, the things I need to do, set up the stuff for King Baby Duck to show up later this evening. If we end up doing that with the background stuff and the, you know, the shit like I see with Steve Martin and Selena Gomez in the background, all of that stuff. But as I said, I created the event early just because I wanted to make sure that people had time to catch up to watch this, or at least would have some sort of warning that I went live. And Alex is like, I got 2 episodes to binge. So congratulations for making it to watch those 2 episodes in the last hour while I was warming up. Great to see you. Great to see Alex in the live chat. Great to see AK, the real YT. Jason motherfucking Voorhees in the live chat, who really is the killer for everybody. This is one of those rare occasions where Jason is not the murderer. It's not Jason. It's not Mike Myers. It's not Freddy Krueger. It's not Leatherface. Can you tell what generation from horror movies I come from? It's none of those dudes. It's not Chucky. It's not, With my taste in music, how could I not know what the Scream guy's called? The Ghostface Killer, and I don't know what you did last, asshole. Like, does that one have a name? I don't know if that one has a name. I think when it comes down to horror movies, the generation of which that I enjoy it the most, I almost think it's almost like Saturday Night Live. They say like whatever cast is in front of you when you're in high school, you think they're the best cast. And I think sometimes in horror movies, for me, like the ones I saw when I was a kid, like every other one I watched since then, I was like, I don't connect with it as well as I do some of those late 80s, early 90s slasher films. There's one I talk about all the fucking time. I was talking to my neighbor about it because she loves old horror movies. Called Shocker, with it's another Wes Craven movie. I believe he did it when he quit the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. He ended up going over to do Shocker and tried to have it be. I don't know. Some part of me thinks it's like a spoof of Nightmare on Elm Street a little bit. It's all about this guy that like a murder. It's almost Chucky-like too. This dude commits some murders, and then he's finally caught by some kid that has a weird connection with him. You know, the kid that has a weird connection in every horror movie with the killer. And then he goes to jail, gets the electric chair, but says some weird seance thing to allow himself to be transported into the electricity, like the electric gremlin from Gremlins 2. So he becomes the electric gremlin from Gremlins 2, and then he can bounce from TV to TV and like come out of the TV and kill you or bring you into the TV, like Stay Tuned. People don't know what Stay Tuned is. It's the movie with Edward R. Rooney, Dean of Students, and Mindy from Mork and Mindy when they get zapped into a television to try to sell their soul to the devil or some shit like that. So it's like a cross between Chucky, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Stay Tuned. Well, anyways, Shocker is a very funny. I find it hilarious, just because the whole end scene, the end fighting horror scene. Oh, well, I guess I'm gonna spoil Shocker for you. Is a whole big battle in the television. You know, like they're battling from TV movie to TV movie between the good guy and the bad guy. Horrible movie, but great. I love it. Yes, he does. He comes right out of the TV, AK. He like stretches out of the TV and grabs you. I think that was the preview. Some person like sitting in a living room where like the hand stretches out of the TV. Now, even your television isn't safe. By the maker of Nightmare on Elm Street, the king of horror. Now, even your television isn't safe. Welcome to Shocker. Coming soon from the CW on from UPN and CW and presented by UHA Network. We have Shocker in its entirety, edited out, all the killing scenes. Sorry, I found way too much enjoyment there. Bee-bop-a-doo-ba. Bubba Ho-Tep was a good new horror movie. I will definitely try to check that out at some point in time. I've been looking for a good one. Oh my god, I just had an idea Phil, check your Facebook DMs after I'm done with this. I will. I'll fucking check that shit. Oh, I'm checking it. I'm checking it all the way. Well, I don't have anything yet. But no, I'll check it later. Dip in my DMs, AK. And if I don't get you, send me again, because I don't know if you sent something yet, but I didn't see it yet. Okay, I've seen Shocker. Yeah, it's not bad. It's horrible. You can't spoil something that's 2 decades or older. I agree with that, but there's some sensitive motherfuckers out there these days, and I think you can, but at that point, if someone hasn't watched it, then it's buyer beware kind of situation. But there's certain things I still would feel weird spoiling for someone even many, many years later. Like, pun intended for the name of Tony and I and Bridget's podcast, The Usual Suspects. Like a movie like that, I feel weird spoiling it even now, or something millions of years later, like Citizen Kane or something like that. Like what Rosebud really is. I mean, you can say it. People say it. There's really no crime to it, but we'll see. Thank you, AK. I was thinking the same thing. However, I did not want to spoil the Friday the 13th. Yeah, but realistically... Oh, it has Bruce Campbell. Okay, I already like it. So I think horror movies are very, very fun. And they can be fun. But for me, they're at their best when they're funny. When they have a sense of humor to them. One of the hauntings on Netflix I enjoyed, too. The first of the two. Was the first one Blythe Manor, or was that the second one? I forget. Whichever... Hill House. I liked Hill House, whatever that was. I thought that was well put together and kept me captivated through the whole thing. And it was a more recent sort of horror thing. Anyways, we're way off subject here, but getting back into Only Murders in the Building. Let's get into a couple of the references in this episode that I enjoyed. Breaking down the door, that scene with Martin Short and Selena Gomez talking about how they couldn't break down the door because their combined weight of 125, I thought was just a hilarious line. Charles knowing something's up in the scene with Jan, the way he handled it was really great. The Doogie Howser reference about how Brazos lost an award to Doogie Howser, again, just shows you the place in which he's in. I hope next season we get to see more Brazos episodes in the same way that we saw horsing around episodes on BoJack or other sorts of episodes in other sorts of places. I really want to see that. I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing characters, fake television shows and movies. Within television shows and movies, I think that's sort of one of those underrated things that I just enjoy to the nth degree. Like on How I Met Your Mother did a lot of that stuff with Robin. Like, let's go to the mall, y'all. In all the songs with her, or the television show. Like when you get in-universe TV shows and movies, I just think they're always done they're usually done really well. Joe knows this. This is a trope that I like. It's part of the reason I enjoyed watching all of Entourage, like seeing the fake Vinny Chase movies. No matter how bad they got, I just liked it. Like I want to see those movies. I want to see Going Bananas with Johnny Drama and Andrew Dice Clay. Like I would watch every episode of that cartoon. I'm a prime audience for that. I've been looking for Medellin for years. But I like fake shows and movies and commercials or whatever. It's one of my enjoyments. So the fact that we got a Brazos episode or a moment of Brazos, the fact that we get references like Brazos lost awards to Doogie Howser, little things like that I just really love. Now, not drinking the strange sip. Steve Martin saying, I'm not taking sips, I'm taking theater sips. I very much like that. Her barking puppy woof. Jan, the actress that plays Jan, I thought watching her when she first showed up on screen, this is where I said earlier that I should have known. We should have known. The actress that plays Jan from the beginning has been overacting when she's on screen compared to everyone else on there. I'd have to rewatch it all and look it back and all that sort of stuff. But for the most part, it seems to me that there's some element of a disconnection from the moment we met her, which is the clues that it could be her from the start. And I very much picked up on that early on with her, and I just thought it was the actor's choice. And I think I said that in one of these streams where I thought she was making a choice because of Steve Martin and Martin Short's theatrical work, that when she was going to be on the show, she was going to do it a little bit more theater and a little bit bigger at times. But instead, it's her putting on an act. It was her putting on an act in universe because she's the murderer all the time. And it checks out. Like once she drops that, she's like, it's good to be able to talk about this. Woof, woof, woof. She's like barking and she's like showing her true self about how this is how I break up with all my boyfriends. And there's a sense that Tim wasn't the first one here. And also, as we get to the end, before I get into the full recap here, to get to the ending to the beginning, someone else is murdered that gives Steve Martin and Martin Short a warning, get the fuck out of the building. So is there some sort of connection? Is this part of a murder ring? We've heard at different times during the season that maybe this was done by more than one person. Is someone working with Jan on some level? And I love how this building is just a building filled with guilty people. Like, it's not just Jan. It's not just Tim was guilty in some ways of, the jewelry thing. And even though there was a there was some genuineness of like solving the case to it all, there was still, Tim wasn't 100% a great guy. Some of these other people in the building are just horrible fucking people. Sting wants to beat up a dog. I mean, this is a fucking horrible building with some fucking horrible people. You got the Demises who are fucking sketchball motherfuckers. That's what I meant more than Tim. But, I mean, Tim, generally speaking, as we see from this episode, is probably a pretty good person, but just had a little bit of a dickness to him. But there's just so much going on in this building. And now I'm actually starting to think, that in season 2, it's just going to be more just in the building. Now that we got another murder in the building, now it's going to be murderers. And I forgot to mention that too. At the end, we get Tina Fey's character, Cynthia Kanan. I think that's the real actor's name. I forgot what the spoof name is, and that's how we bring into the fact that we saw flash forward of her doing a podcast about these people doing a podcast, because it all comes together at the end. Thank you, AK. I will check that out in a second. Rosebud is Charles Foster Kane's childhood slide. Hope that spelled everything there right. I love how I said that just in case anyone didn't see it. It's fucking it's the sled, motherfucker. You said slide, but I think you meant sled. But yeah, it's the little sled, right? Message. It's usually the person that no one would think it would be. With all of her boyfriends, how long has she been doing this shit? Yeah, I complained on the other stream that she was too community theater. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit, and now that makes sense, Alex. And to AK's question, I don't know. We don't have any proof of that, but there was a couple of lines that she said, and I'd have to rewatch it, and I'm going to rewatch it before the next podcast I do, whether it be with King or next week, that she has thought about this before, that this is just how you're dealing with my kind of breakup, I think is the line she says, or something about, there's something where she says Tim wasn't the first and you're not going to be the last. I could be projecting. I could be imagining a hopeful imagination of her being a multi-murderer, but I do think she said something along those lines, or maybe it's, sorry, real YT, because I didn't like it either, but it's in my head. Maybe you is still in my head from what you in Squid Game that I just binged in the last couple of days previous to watching this. Like, so murder and people dying is like very strong in my mind right now from a creative entertainment standpoint. But I do think I took from what she was saying in this particular episode that she has that Tim wasn't the first time she had committed murder. It's more that she only feels right when she's murdering. But I could be wrong. I'm sure we'll examine that a little bit more in season 2 with her. I don't think she's just going to disappear. Same with the Demises. I think we will see them and see that at least passively going on throughout the season. But I do think, in my mind, there was something more there. So let's get into this episode. Only Murders in the Building, Season 1, Episode 10, season finale. It opens with Tim Kono narrating moments before he died. He states that he became... Squid Game was so good. I didn't expect to like it so much. Same. I enjoyed it a great deal. I should probably be talking about that rather than this. It's more popular. Joe and I were going to talk about this past Sunday. So we're going to be way late talking about it. But this coming Sunday, Joe Dirty Locks and I will be talking about that, Season 4, and going over a couple of the trailers that have been released in the last couple of weeks. Joe is an incredibly huge Flash fan, so I'm going to make him watch the Flash trailer, and we're going to watch the Batman trailer as well, and whatever else pops up in news. I also want to mention the fact that they've announced that there's going to be a History of the World sequel TV series coming on Hulu. helmed and produced and apparently directed and written by Mel Brooks as well. So all of that and more, Joe and I will be talking about this coming Sunday on the Issues program. So tune in for that if you don't know already. I'll have the event go live as soon as possible, but make sure you set your reminders or set a reminder on your phone that Phil's going live on Sunday evening. So who's Phil? Who's this Phil you're talking about? I'm going live this Sunday. I was going to say the Issues guy was going live, but again, that's even worse. Not talking about myself in third person, just referring to my show more as an entity rather than, whatever. I'll shut the fuck up now. So I got the same impression as well, that she was a serial killer, but I've only seen it once on the run, so I could get to the stream in time. Yes, absolutely, Alex. I felt exactly the same way. I felt like I only watched it in passing here to get to the stream and yada, yada, yada. But I, too, kind of felt the same thing. I felt like she was some sort of a serial killer. And yes, Mel Brooks, History of the World. Will we get Hitler on Ice? Will we get Jews in space? Will we get a Viking something? What is it, a Viking funeral or something? Or I forget all the previews we got for possible History of the World Part 2s. But we're finally in some form getting a History of the World Part 2. Yes. And I will talk more about that on Sunday, all the information we know about it so far. But as of now, just to kind of get the quick announcement out of the way, yes, Mel Brooks is finally going to be back doing something. And it's his property that I've most wanted him to continue on. A lot of people wanted the sequel, a continuation on the Spaceballs or something. Which you got with the animated series. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's pretty good. But I think History of the World was set up the most for more Mel, and we're going to get more Mel. So I'm excited for that. And I will be watching it and recapping it. We also have the new season of Curb coming up soon. That I won't be doing episode recaps, but I will be mentioning Curb too. So a lot of fun stuff coming up this year and coming up in the next couple of years. So I'm very excited about the Mel Brooks stuff. Granted, he hasn't done anything, new in a long time, but a series like Only Murders in the Building gives me extreme confidence that when you're funny and talented, you're funny and talented. And Mel Brooks, with time and effort and with so much history to sort of tap into, I think if he can go full Mel on this shit, I don't think I'm worried. So, and again, I'll talk more about that on Sunday. But I love History of the World. It's probably, I know a lot of people, like the early Mel Brooks people, would mention some of his earlier work. For me, my favorite Mel Brooks movie, all in all, is History of the World. Partially because of the chemistry him and Gregory Hines have together. And Gregory Hines, spoiler alert, is also on that list of incredibly talented people that I'm going to be making. Underratedly incredibly talented. Because Gregory Hines is an incredible actor, personality, hilarious comedian, and can be, and arguably one of the top 3 or 4 tap dancers of all fucking time. So I don't know the all fucking time, but definitely in the conversation. I'm not pulling it out of my ass calling Gregory Hines one of the greatest tap dancers of all time. I mean, I know there's a series of people in the first scene in the movie Tap. If you haven't seen the movie Tap, it's an older movie. At minimum, shut me the fuck off and watch the opening scene. Look up on YouTube, opening scene of Tap, or the battle scene of Tap, where you get all the old tap dancers playing like battle tap. And it's really fucking awesome. It's really fucking awesome. And in general, it's a cheesy 80s movie with a lot of cheesy 80s movie tropes, but it's in general another very fun movie. I very much like Gregory Hines. And I think Gregory Hines is a big part of what makes History of the World awesome. And a lot of other cameos in acting roles, Madeline Kahn, Dom DeLuise are highlights of that movie for me as well. Madeline Kahn especially, but Dom DeLuise, wash this. Dom DeLuise is just fucking hilarious. And Only Murders in the Building gives me confidence that Mel Brooks could do something awesome here. And I know they're two completely different creative minds, but Steve Martin and Mel Brooks' creative minds aren't completely unanalogous in the way that they both are smart and witty and cutting. So I'd love to see Mel Brooks's take on the world of now with History of the World, and seeing his humor right now is something I think we all need. So I'll probably repeat all of this again when I do talk about it more further on Sunday, but extremely excited for that news. That's probably some of the best news I've gotten in a while from an entertainment standpoint. Even if it doesn't end up good, I just want to see Mel Brooks do more stuff. I hope he survives to fucking 190, but the dude is pushing 90 if he's not already 90. So I wanted to just see him do one more thing and have his last thing not really be Robin Hood Men in Tights. And didn't he do one more after that? That was just even worse. But I want to see him go out on a high note. And you could say he went out on a high note with the producer's theatrical show and how well received that was. But I want to see him do one more great movie or television series. And this could be it. Yeah, Gregory Hines it's one of the greatest talents this world has ever seen. And I think he's one of those ones that gets forgotten about. Sammy Davis, Prince, Eddie Murphy, Steve Martin, I think are names that will always be remembered through time entertainment-wise, but maybe not 20, 30 years after their death or 10 years after death. But I do think so in some level. Someone like Gregory Hines slips through the cracks a little bit, right? As a multi-talented, crazy individual. Someone like Dana Carvey. And I know people like Dana Carvey, but that's random. But plays drums, amazing stand-up, hilarious characters, impressions-wise, can act too and be a comedic lead. Someone like him that was the biggest thing in the world in Saturday Night Live for a brief period of time didn't have the commercial success of somebody like, Adam Sandler or Mike Myers or even someone like Kevin Nealon, who had a big-time part on a show like Weeds. So many people from that cast, Chris Farley having two widely successful, more than two, but two really successful movies, or David Spade even being around long enough as a host in different places here and there, or in all the Sandler movies. I think Dana Carvey went through some health issues and a malpractice case and a lot of stuff here and there that sort of curbed his ability to sort of be brought to the mainstream like that. And Gregory Hines, I think, was famous at a time that he could have maybe got overshadowed by a lot of other talented people going through time, because there's just so many talented people. But I think, for me, Gregory Hines would be on that list as some of the most talented fucks to ever entertain us. 95 years old is Mel Brooks. Fucking motherfucker. And I hope he comes out and shows all of us that he hasn't lost a beat in producing a series. And I have a lot of confidence about that. People could say I'm snuffing up my own uppigus here, and I'm setting myself up for a big fucking fail-safe. But as my hair is turning gray, literally, you're going to tune into the show one day and it's all going to be white. You're going to be I haven't checked out Phil in a month. Let me check out what he's doing now. And you're going to see, but this isn't Phil. This is Santa Claus. I'm going to gain 50 pounds. My whole beard's going to be white. The question is, what's going to go white first? This or all of this? That's what I'm curious about. My own self. I want to take bets now. Should I put out a poll? Hines made a movie in Chicago as a cop. He was very good too. He could just do anything. Okay, so Only Murders in the Building. Tim Kono is narrating the moments right before he died. He states that he only became lonely when he lost all of his friends and his romance with Jan helped. Meanwhile, in the present day, Mabel and Oliver have figured out that Tim's lover was who Tim's lover was. They basically come to grips with the fact that she is the killer. They know it, and they need to warn him about what the fuck is going on. And it turns into, again, a very funny scene about how they need to warn Charles about what's going on here. And so, meanwhile, in the present day, Oliver figure out that Tim's lover is, and they warn her. So they have to tell Charles that he's been sleeping with a murderer. But he tells them they are insane, and Mabel explains their theory. Now, later on, Jan finds Charles at the apartment. She's mortified that he found out she lied about being the first chair, and she apologizes. Charles lets her in. They drink together. Jan sees the exotic instrument cleaner from Tim's apartment and wonders if Charles thinks she is the killer. Charles Brazos sets up a wonderful acting job here where he's like, no, I don't. They think it is. The other two do, but I don't. And he claims he doesn't think it's her and confesses he loves her and he's fallen in love with her. She reciprocates, says she loves him as well. And at the same time, we see Mabel and Oliver continuing their investigation in Jan's apartment, trying to find the smoking gun of all of this happening. And they find poison. They also find a knife. They figure out that Jan actually stabbed herself in this situation, or that's what they think. That's the working theory. Now, it turns out that Charles is much smarter than we think, and he is acting, as we know, because we see his nose running at some points too. He tells Jan he has an aha Brazos kind of moment where you can see him really eating this for breakfast too. And he knows that she poisoned his alcohol and that she used the same substance on Tim. Ladies and gentlemen, this moment of silence is brought to you by bananas. This moment of silence is brought to you by bananas. And I'm back. Come on, puppy. Lotus, you want it? Go get it, Lotus. Okay, so we're back in here. Let's get back in here. Oh no, take it down. Take it all down. So sorry, I was giving Lotus a little bit of the she likes the last of my banana. That's you're feeding your dog your banana? That's disgusting, Phil. You're a disgusting fucking pig. Sorry, I'm as I mentioned before, I'm just waking up here, so I needed a little pick me up occasionally here with my sugar rush of my banana. So, Banzai Network saw you were on, wanted to make a suggestion, knowing your love for Game of Thrones and Vikings. You need to see on Apple TV with Momoa. You need to watch C on Apple TV with Momoa. First thing since Game of Thrones to fill the gap. Banzi, thank you so much for popping on in here. Funny enough that you say that. I just got access to Apple TV yesterday, where a friend of mine let me log into her account. So, and I haven't checked anything out on there yet. I was going to see what was on there later this evening, into tomorrow or part of this week. I will definitely try to check that out. I haven't heard of that show yet, but I'm very excited to watch it, so I will check it out. Ooh, Banzai, I've been trying to get my streaming friend like Phil to watch that show. I need someone to talk about it. Ooh, I'm excited then. AK and I often have similar perspectives on television shows and movies and stuff, so if AK is liking it, I'm even more excited to watch it too. Not that I didn't trust your suggestion, Banzai. I'm like, yeah, Banzai suggested this, but fuck him. AK likes it. I'm gonna watch this shit. No, but seriously though, I like no shit just got access to Apple TV, so this will be a good opportunity to test out a show on it. And Apple TV has some really good original content. Kind of sad about the finale, but now I can see, ooh, I'm excited here. Yes, AK was badass, the most brutal fights. AK was happy to see Rodney from Stargate return to Mo. Ooh, okay. So I am excited. I'm liking that you guys are tag teaming on this situation. I'm excited to get into watching this. And yeah, I'll definitely try to check out that series at one point in time. Lotus, your adoring audience missed you last week. Say hi to everybody. Yeah. And she's like, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. I'm getting some water. I'm going home. Screw you guys. I'm going home. Now, Charles is wiser than all of us. He's acting, and he tells Jen that he knows she poisoned his alcohol and that she used the same substance on Tim. Suddenly, Jan transforms into herself. As Alex and I were talking about a couple of weeks ago, she basically drops the theatrical act that she was doing, and she turns into, like, very raw psychotic. Granted, she's still like getting high off of it or getting turned on by her murderousness, but it is sort of a fun, good transformation. And she reveals how excited she is that everything's all out in the open. Charles goes through more evidence against her, and he tells her how she left a recording of how she played a recording of the bassoon, and that's one of the ways she knew. She's like touching herself. She's like, tell me what else you know about me. And the letters that she wrote, she signed with her cute J. As she gets more, as he starts to get more and more tired. And he starts to get a little bit down, and we start to realize that he's actually has been poisoned. There was poison on the handkerchief as he collapses into the floor. She tells him how as he's passing out, it gets really scary. This is the point where I started to feel fear for Steve Martin's character. I thought she might kill him right here. There was just this moment where she's like, "This is how I handle all my breakups." That was the line, Alex, that led me to believe she's a serial killer. She says something like, "This is how I break up with all my boyfriends." I think I have it written down. And I say, "God damn, she's crazy," in capital letters in my notes. It's confirmed Jen is the murderer. She gets off on him begging for his life, and that's what truly gets her off, hearing her ex-boyfriends begging for her lives as she breaks up with them. Now Jen leaves the apartment and tries to get rid of the other two while Charles is sort of incapacitated. She can worry about him later. I guess that's one of those what if moments, if I'm saying one sort of whatever thing, why she didn't just kill Charles right there. But we needed this hilarious scene, which is prime, like, classic Steve Martin. Like Steve Martin, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, when he's playing the character in the con, or it's almost his impression of like doing a Chevy Chase thing too. He tries his hardest to get up and use his nose on his smartphone because he can't talk, he can't walk, he can't move. He's like, finally he makes it to crawl himself to the elevator. And this was the most hilarious scene in the entire episode. Like, this is when we got really fucking funny, because everyone in the elevator that comes in, when he's like passed out in the elevator, everyone's like, "You're extremely drunk," and they just ignore him, and they go on to have like their own conversations, but like while ignoring him, like dying on the floor. And it was just hilarious Steve Martin physical acting for somebody in their fucking, like, I don't even know how old Steve Martin is, but he was just, for someone that's not always known for this kind of physical comedy that was almost more Martin Shorty, he killed it. And then the whole thing with the Alexa or Siri was just made me laugh out loud. Incredibly hilarious. He's trying to ask for help. It's like, "Okay, we will play Help by the Beatles." You know, it's not that, but it's something funny like this. Now, it's a fun finale. We also get this line about the gas fireplaces, and it's one of her rougher breakups because she really does care about him. All the characters keep missing themselves on the elevators as we get a little Keystone Cops, Benny Hill kind of thing going on. Oliver tries feeding. They finally catch up with each other, and Oliver's like, "We can feed him milk to absorb the toxins." And then he's like, "Maybe we can urinate on him before we use urine." Then Charles's face, just another hilarious scene. They use his face to unlock the phone, and they find the recording where Jan confesses the murder. And then they start all smelling gas fumes, or feeling gas fumes, as gas is being let through the basement as Jan is meddling with the gas system, trying to just kill everyone in the building at once. So Steve Martin is all fucked up. And okay, so then they go down to basically figure it all out. And there's a line, I'm sorry, like some of my notes are mixed in, or like the timing of it's mixed in because I was just writing all over the place. Steve Martin, when he kind of confronts Jan at the end, there's this moment where you think he's all fucked up, and finally he's just like, "Wait." It reminded me a lot of the scene in, The Wolf of Wall Street, when Jordan Belfort is all on the lewds, and he thinks he's talking normal, but then you go to hear what he's actually talking like, and he's like, Steve Martin's like, this, and another thing, son. You can't get away with this murder. And then they cut to what he's really saying, and he's like, it's just like, I don't know why it was so stupid, but it just made me laugh really, really hard. So after Jan finds him in the basement, she pulls the gun on the trio. Eventually, Oliver uses the wheelchair that Charles is in to hit Jan, and then Mabel beats the living shit out of her, which is just really rewarding to watch. I don't know why. Selena Gomez beating the shit out of this woman was oddly made me feel very happy. So Jan drops her weapon, and she is arrested. "Welcome back to the building, you bunch of idiots." Now then we get our little follow-up to what happens at the end, where let's get into explaining this ending here. So Oliver does not take cash from his son. It's very emotional. And when his son wanted to stay and hang out with him, I cried. I fucking cried this morning. I fucking cried. I didn't just emotionally go, what the fuck's going on? And just run around my fucking apartment in circles here. I also got teary-eyed. I really did. I really did. And it was in this scene. Then we get the Mabel and Oscar scene together, which didn't quite make me as emotional, but it's still great to see Mabel finally happy and okay after so long. She's just like, for the first time in a long time, I'm okay. And being somebody that, and again, without getting too far down this road because I'm wacky, I often don't feel okay either. And when you have those moments that you suddenly finally feel okay for just a second, it's a really both comfortable and really uncomfortable feeling. And I think Selena Gomez played both emotions. She played the emotion, and we see it later in the scene up when they're on the roof drinking champagne. She feels okay about this, but she doesn't feel 100% okay, beautiful about this. She feels like something else is up. And in this scene right here where she's saying, I feel okay. It's the first time I felt okay in a really long time. Maybe on the surface you're supposed to feel happy in this moment, but I felt doom. And I don't know if it's because of me bringing my own baggage into it of again, what I just said. Often when I feel okay, it's when I feel the most not okay. I feel way more okay in chaos, in disaster, than I do when something's going good. Because I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm like, oh, this is a wonderful apartment. I love living here. This is great. When's the roof going to cave in? I like this place so much better. I felt almost more like, sometimes when bad shit always happens to you, you feel like that's where you make sense. And I think there is an element of that to Mabel, where the chaos makes sense to Mabel. Being okay doesn't. And I thought that was played exceptionally well by Selena Gomez. And yeah, I thought that was a really great scene. Then we get Charles Brazos finally messaging his girlfriend's daughter, Lucy. Now, his ex-girlfriend's daughter. And instead of signing his name with the big, long, normal text message thing that he's been doing all season long, he actually just leaves it be. And then she replies back with a hey, and he's just so happy. Seeing the happiness on Steve Martin's face in this moment as he messages her, it again, just waterworks city. I lost it at that point. I lost it. Then we hear Tim again reading the final words of the final podcast. Cut to Brazos doing it for the podcast. And even Oliver says, this is the first time you've ever been a good actor. Just a fun little dig there. They have some drinks, some champagne. Charles is handling it all pretty well. I slept with a murderer. This is a good story to tell on a first date. And this is where Selena says there's a few loose ends. It doesn't make sense. And Oliver's like, yeah, loose end number one. We're out of champagne. Go down to your apartment. And she's like, I'll go to my apartment and get some more. So then we get our Martin and Martin moment to sort of say goodbye to the two of them as a team for the season. And they talk about how great of a team up, and they are taking bestie applications. And they're like, we're 70 years old. We're not best friends. And the sirens are coming. And they're like, wait, this is getting closer. Then someone texts them that says, get the fuck out of the building right now. And we're suddenly at the beginning of our season scene where they're running back down, going to Mabel's apartment, and they find Mabel in there with a dead Bunny. Who Bunny is the building manager who has gotten into several disagreements with them over the season. And they are all taken by the cops. They don't say a word. They say, don't say a word, as we're setting up in a big situation like this. The fans are surprised, or they're taken out by the cops. Don't say a word. The detective says don't say a word as they see all their fans. We see all of our people from the whole season. We see Cynthia Kanan, or whatever her fake name is in this situation. And she says, I'm doing the podcast. So after 10 episodes, the central mystery of only murders in the building is solved. Tim Kono is the murderer. Will finally face justice. Congratulations to those who saw past the red herrings. This is from an article. In the entire murders of crew accidentally solved it to the point the finger at Jan. Now, it was a great ending, but there was no way Only Murders in the Building was going to leave it at that. The season opened with a flash forward to where Charles and Oliver discover Mabel with a dead body. And the finale made good on that promise of further murder in the show's final moments. Mabel asks if anyone else feels there's still a couple of loose ends in the story. No one thinks so, but when Mabel leaves to grab another bottle of champagne and Charles and Oliver get in anonymous text telling them to get out of the building, we have a plot for season 2. After that text, season 1 catches up to the cliffhanger beginning and replays the show's shocking opening. Charles, they go out of there. So it turns out Mabel's observation that there are a few loose ends is absolutely correct. For one, who was Tim Kono leaving Jan for? Are they in the Iconia too, as we've heard that there is a second girl? And is this person safe now that Jan has been arrested? Or were they in cahoots with Jan? Who texted Charles and Oliver to get out of the building when Bunny was being murdered? What happened to Howard's other 5 cats? And what is the smell coming from his apartment? And why does he keep the frozen versions of them? Does he clone them? And number 4, who is framing this crew for yet another murder in the building? We won't get those answers until season 2, but anyone that has any ideas, please share them in the comment section below when you watch this video, in the live chat right now, or leave me a voicemail at 781-990-8509. Do we know? Is this someone that's left in the air? I do think whoever the woman that Tim, okay, this is my speculation right now as we're going into this, as we finish this finale, is that the person framing them, doing these murders right now, is the person that Tim left Jan for, Tim's other girlfriend. Or she is involved in this somehow. And she wanted revenge on Jan herself, and she's upset with the crew for bringing Jan down. So now she is framing them so she can punish somebody. So I guess that's my working theory right now. But really, anything is possible. And that is our season of Only Murders in the Building. Very much an accidental show for me to kind of pick up on here. I wanted to talk about it once I saw it. I wanted to watch it once I saw it being posted as a series that was coming because of my love for Steve Martin. I'm also a huge Martin Short fan, as I've mentioned before. But really, my love of the 3 of these actors comes from Steve Martin first and foremost. He's one of my favorite entertainers of all time. Some of his movies are some of my favorite movies of all time as well. I think he's one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time, greatest banjo players of all time, greatest theatrical writers, and as an actor in the conversation is one of the greatest comedic actors of all time. So to see him back doing work, I would have tuned into this series no matter what. I do love Martin Short. I wouldn't consider myself like the biggest Martin Short fan in the world. That's not because I don't appreciate what he does. It's just there's other comedians on that list that I put above him for my interest. That doesn't mean he's not a unique, incredible talent. There's a reason why he was voted the best talk show host of all time by so many different talk show guests of all time by so many different talk show hosts. He is an incredibly multi-talented individual. I especially love Jiminy Glick, that character of Jiminy Glick. One of my favorite skits characters of all time. I love how he rips apart celebrities, and I love his no holds barred approach when he's within that character. But this series caught me off guard with how much I was going to like it, how it became the series I was most looking forward to every single week, beyond anything else I was watching, beyond anything I probably watched since Better Call Saul was on. This is probably my favorite thing. The Boys and Invincible have something to say about that too. But I'd say this, The Boys, Invincible, I'm trying to think anything else, Cobra Kai, since Better Call Saul has last aired, have been the last things that have made me really fucking excited. And I've watched some other stuff that has made me happy and I've enjoyed here and there, but really this is what I want to feel when I'm watching a TV show every week. This is inspiring me to want to come out here. I don't care if there's 2 people watching it or we're lucky enough to have a couple hundred people watching every week, not to mention the people that listen to the audio cast. I wouldn't give a crap if no one watched this. I would just want to come out and be able to babble about this series. That's how excited I am about it. And it can live on its own as an individual season. This show now gets put into the discussion for me, and I know I'm a hyperbolic. I'm a hyperbolic. I wear burrs. I'm a hyperbolic asshole, right? This series now has been catapulted into my discussion list as best single seasons. The second season might fucking suck, right? But Joe and I often have this conversation, and I have it in different places too. The best series to have a season 1, right? The best season 1 series. This is high on that list for me. This would be included in the conversation. And I more mean shows that maybe aren't as good following the season. So we'll see where this goes after the fact. But for me, Only Murders with the Building is 10 out of 10 side buttholes. I really enjoyed this series. This final episode was the best episode of the season. And to have a final episode be my favorite episode of the season says a lot, because it tied the room together with a really great bow. And yeah, 10 out of 10 Selena Gomez side boobs for me on this series, or 10 out of 10 Steve Martin banjos, or 10 out of 10 inner spaces. However you want to define my ranking system in whatever ridiculous scenario you possibly could pick, that's what I'm going to say about the series. And again, why am I not looking here? It's one thing if I'm reading something, but right now I'm literally, when I'm looking here, I'm looking at my own self. I'm looking in my own eye. Hi, don't you look pretty today in your eye? No, I'm like, no, I don't. I look stupid. Let's go. Are there talks of season 2 already? There hasn't been an official announcement yet, but there was so much pushing for season 2 at the end of the series, and how successful this has been, from what at least the reports we're getting as being one of the number one streamed comedies in a long time, that I've heard about it's harder with ratings and shit like that these days, but everything I've heard is that this has been an incredible success for Hulu. So I highly doubt if there isn't going to be a season 2. So it hasn't officially been announced, but I feel like this episode announced it. I feel like everything that happened in this final episode told me there's going to be a season 2. And if there isn't, I would be grossly surprised. That being said, My So-Called Life has something to be said about that. You know, we all know how that fucking show ended, and didn't give me any fucking conclusion. Made it seem like there'd be a season 2, but we live in a different era. I do think we're going to see a season 2 of it. I was in the same way when I was in the hospital earlier this year. In my head, I was saying it was all right. However, when I was talking to doctors, it wasn't. I kept saying it's 93, not 2001. Well, I'm glad, Real YT. You mentioned that a little bit earlier, what you've been through over the last year. I'm so happy that you're able to pop in my live motherfucking chat and share in the silly, awesome discussion, and be in a lot of a lighthearted place now than you were earlier this year. So, Real YT, all fucking jokes and douchebaggery that we throw out here on the Issues program aside, myself and Joe and everyone attached, we send you lots of love, and it's great to have you in the live chat talking here with me, talking this shit. It makes me smile. That makes, I also got an amazing message from Valar Magordas, on Discord, one of our good friends who's not subscribed still on YouTube, Valar Magoras, that just really, really awesome stuff. And I said it in the message I sent back to you, but thank you so much for the kind words you say. It's shit like that makes this worth it. And I'm not going to get into it all, but thank you so much. And thank you, Real YT. You are incredible, my friend. AK watch if you mean Only Murders. It's been renewed. Okay, it was renewed a few. Oh yeah, it was. Thank you, Alex. I'm an idiot. 2 or 3 episodes back, we got renewed for season 2. I'm a dumbass. Yes, we did. Thank you, Alex. As usual, thank you for correcting my stupidity. It's Tina. Ooh, Alex. Could it be Tina, Cynthia Kanan, or whatever her fucking name is, framing them just to get more topics because she sees how successful their podcast was, and she wants to she can't just copy their podcast. She needs to make a podcast about their making the podcast. So by doing that, this is a perfect situation to set them up with. Wow. And what if she is Tim's new girlfriend too? But you might seriously be onto something, Alex. That's a very good selection right there. Very good pick right there. It could be her. The way she's smiling at the end, the way we see her set up, steal her underling's line right there, and we see how she's sort of will do anything for the show kind of person. I like that. I like it possibly being Cynthia Kanan or whatever her name is. Tina Fey's character. I love The Boys too. I can't wait for season 3 of The Boys. And if you haven't watched it yet, people, I've talked about on this channel. You can watch my review, why you should be watching. There's 2 of them, I believe. Why you should be watching Invincible. Different kind of show. I know it gets compared to The Boys a lot, but another really great show on Amazon that is being produced right now, and season 2 is coming eventually. Both shows, I believe, are produced by Seth Rogen. I could be making that up. I know he produces the Invincible. I feel like he also has some money in The Boys as well, but I could be wrong about that. Excuse me. Season 1s are usually good, then season 2 beyond suck. Lost, I'm talking to you. Oh my fucking goodness. Oh, I said the F word. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say the F word when referencing this person, just because I know I can hurt. Actually, he's probably been best friends long enough these days with Tony and I to just have it just be white noise in the background now. But the amazing, the wonderful, the beautiful, the incredible, my buddy Bridge 4 in the live chat right now. Lots of love to Bridge. And if you haven't already, and you're hiding under a rock somewhere and you're not subscribed to Bridge 4, please do. Bridge, just like everyone, even though he's a huge channel compared to me, just like anybody, when you're an independent contractor out here, an independent artist, and not in the main. And I feel like that. I feel like that's where we are with YouTube these days, where you got people that are like, in the mainstream YouTube, and then you have like the indie YouTubers. All of us indie YouTubers more than ever need your help. Even someone as, having some crazy successful videos like Bridge. So if you haven't already, and for whatever reason you subscribe to me and you're not subscribed to Bridge 4, get your ass over to Bridge 4 and subscribe to that motherfucker. I want myself, Tony, and Bridge all to have the same amount of everyone subscribe to everybody. So please, if you're subscribed to me, please subscribe to my podcasting and streaming brother and one of my closest friends out there, Bridge 4. Truly awesome people. Okay, that's enough licking Bridge's labia. Bridge, I got you $20. Thanks, buddy. I got you $20 for advertising. Okay, put it in there. But no, love you, buddy. I'll hopefully talk to you very soon. So let's continue. A couple more chats here. Only Murders in the Building has officially been renewed by season 2 by Hulu. Thank you so much, Alex. My idiotic brain forgot about it. And thank you, Real YT. I'm lucky to be one of your favorite channels, and anybody that still checks me out or comes and checks me out after the last year and the big year break I had to take because of life changes with me and all that sort of shit. I appreciate everyone that's stuck around and keeps coming back and keeping the discussion going. And we're going to have a lot of fun over this next year, talking about a lot of really awesome shows. Phil, you came back to the stream after the renewal announcement. What are you talking about? You don't know. Alex, can I tell you what? I'm a fucking pothead. And I can remember shit from 18 years ago, who is the star of like all the actors in Haunted Honeymoon with Gene, and remember the moment that Gilda Radner at her best with Dom DeLuise and so many other people that were amazing. I can remember all that stuff, but I can't remember what I talked about last week. But you're right, Alex. It did happen. Speaking of great shows, shameless plug. Going to be on with DJ11 and the Fandom D Saint again tonight doing Umbrella Academy. People haven't checked that out. Make sure you subscribe and you check out DJ11 or I think it's on DJ's channel. But AK, feel free to clarify that in the live chat. But if you're watching Umbrella Academy and you want to see some awesome discussions, check out my good buddy DJ11 and the amazing, wonderful Fandom D Saint, and of course the incredibly awesome AK to talk about that this evening. No idea what that is, AK. I just looked it up. Some TV show. Didn't realize she had done it before. Yes. Oh, Disney Kid. Okay. I'm in the middle of a different conversation. That's my motto. Sub to everyone. We all need the support. Morning Film. Missed you if you talked about the show already. Same with Waverly Place. Very good show. My nieces watch it. Fernandez, I have. Unfortunately, I'm sort of at the end point here. Going to be wrapping things up in a minute. But I'm glad that you were able to pop on here before I wrap things up, because no stream is fucking complete without Fernandez motherfucking T in there. Seriously, though. I said this to somebody earlier, but it's to you as well. The support that you give myself and Tony Ambridge for everything what we do right now, coming up and popping in the streams, and the love you give with super chats and all that sort of stuff. Fernandez T, you are amazing. and it means so much to us, even if we don't always like slam our fist down and tell it all the time, and we're distracted by crazy shit going on in the stream sometimes. But all you guys that tune into us every week and make us part of your weekly entertainment cycle, especially with so much fucking out there, not just on YouTube, but just in the world for entertainment wise, and so many streaming channels with so much shit right now. We live, even in 5-year difference of last year, we live in an incredibly different entertainment landscape. So the fact that some of you guys still check out our indie YouTube channels here and watch us and engage means more than you know. And I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind talking to 2 people or 100 people, or lucky enough at the most talk to thousands. Like when you have the connection and when you like talking about this shit, it genuinely comes out of you, whether it be 1 or 1,000. So thank you, Fernandez T. Even if I'm going to say, Fernandez T's here, let's end the show. But thank you for all the support you give, motherfucker. You're the best. You're the best. And Bridge, yeah, I do. I'll get that. I just got the certified money order for $20 to support Bridge. Say Bridge 4 is awesome. So yeah, there you go. But no, Bridge, you're amazing, buddy. And I hope to talk to you soon. Not connected at all is I will be back. I'll wrap things up in a few minutes, but if anyone has any last minute questions or comments, please pop them in the live chat right now, whether it be about only murders in the building, or anything else you might want, direction you may want to flick my little fucking head in. I was going to say my little dumbass head, or I had some sort of precursor there to something else I wanted to say, but I forget it. By the way, that Mel Brooks news was one of the best news I've heard in a long time. I'm not being hyperbolic. The idea alone gives me so much joy, even if it does not materialize. Yes, let's talk about that for one more second before I end up going. Mel Brooks, I think anyone who's been a fan of Mel Brooks throughout their lives, and I've seen almost every single Mel Brooks movie. If I'm missing one, I don't know. But it's very possible. Some of my favorites, as I've mentioned, are, of course, Blazing Saddles. Of course, History of the World. I also I love Life Stinks. High Anxiety, is that another one? I've seen all of those movies. His early movies, he was able to sort of creatively make movies in a lot of different eras for a lot of different audience generations. And maybe some of the funniest movies of all time. And what's interesting about Mel Brooks movies is each generation that he makes movies for, the previous generation say they're not as good as the movies he made in the previous generation. So, when he makes Spaceballs or makes, Robin Hood or Life Stinks, Robin Hood's not my favorite of his movies, but it's still freaking funny at times. I think it comes down to some of the acting choices that they made in Robin Hood Men in Tights. As much as I love Richard Lewis as a stand-up comedian, I don't think he owns that role as much. I think they could have cast better for him in that role, and also the other bad guy I don't think really works. Tracy Ullman is really funny in that movie, if that is Tracy Ullman as the witch, which I think it is. Dave Chappelle, I think, is not full Dave Chappelle at that point yet, and he's funny in that movie, but not as funny as he could have been. And I think Cary Elwes, or whatever his name is, as much as I love him in The Princess Bride, I think his humor and his timing doesn't work for me as well in Robin Hood Men in Tights. I don't think it's the way it's written or directed. I think it's the way it was cast. I think there's several other actors I would have rather in so many of those roles. And I would have almost recast the entire fucking movie. But what happens in it is still very funny to me. But I feel like this is an amazing opportunity for Mel Brooks to hopefully, again, as I said, I hope he lives to 195. But the dude's 95 years old. Likely, he probably won't be alive in 15 years. I'm giving him a lot more time, right? I don't want to be responsible for this. I don't want to get bad news tomorrow and be like, Phil, you were talking about it too much. So I'm hoping he lives another 15 years. But getting to see him do something again is very awesome. Getting to see him do one of my favorite properties of all time and doing something like this is even better, and allowing him to Okay, enough of that house beat. So, thank you guys for allowing me to eat my breakfast while doing a live stream here. I just need to play some music. There's nothing worse to me than I'm Doge. I know that doesn't bother everybody, but for me, it's like one of my, if I'm listening to an audio cast, especially if the audio cast, if I'm watching a video, it's not as bothersome, but I do release this as an audio cast as well. So someone's going to return to the cast. I'm like, okay, let's bring you out. I'm gone.
Are you saying you have a banana in the tailpipe?
Yes, there's a banana in my tailpipe. Well, man in tights. Kay, thanks for the love, but I'm just another fan. Sorry, at work. Just listening. I will watch the episode later. And see, that's what I mean. Like, you saying that, we're lucky ass motherfuckers to even have any of that sort of thing. I always say my friends, but, like friends, whatever. Like, being just that is amazing. And thank you for checking us out from work and popping in there. And if you haven't already, and I should have said this earlier, I'm not good at this, but if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure and share this out. Help other people see it, or at least leave a comment. More stuff you do like that, comments, thumbs up, that type of stuff. More than ever right now, it's super important, especially when I say fuck every other single fucking word. Holy shit, Fernandez T. See, I can't do it as good as Tony can. I'll tell Tony tomorrow night he owes you one, but we just got a super chat donation from the amazing, the wonderful, the incredible Fernandez T, giving us a super chat from work. And you know what, Fernandez T? You know what you win for that on my channel? You win a spin of the wheel. So excuse me while I kiss the fucking sky, Fernandez. Here we go, buddy. I should do a close up on this, but I can't. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies, and stop. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There it was. Sorry for the Press Your Luck song. It was screwing with your head there. We got a super chat donation from Fernandez T, and it landed on Phil Drink. And do I have that? Is that? I gotta check that board. I really do. I need to double check that board to make sure it's not all fucked up. Because basically, like, it always lands on Drink. It landed on Drink. I was hoping it was going to land on play a trumpet solo, because for the first time in a while, oh shit, no, I'm sorry, everybody. Oh no, I'm not going to mess with this now. I'm not going to mess with this now because it's going to end up falling the fuck down, and then I'm going to end up in fucking hell, right? Let me not fuck with this right now. I was going to show you my trumpet. Oh, there we go. I was going to show you my trumpet, but no, it landed on Drink. It's fucking noon. I guess I got to do by law of the super chat whale. That means I needed to take a drink here at fucking noon. So let me play in one more song while I go into the other room. Thank you so much, Fernandez T, for the super chat donation. It honestly means more than you fucking know, dude. And I'm like, let me try to play a song. This is a song by that wonderful band, Mosquito Gonzalez. It's true, I have been drunk this whole fucking series. In Bridge. I know it did. It sounded like a sound effect. I hope Tony doesn't listen to this. But it's better. It was better than trying to like imitate him or something like that, you know? I had to do it the way I sound. I'm so geeky. I'm like one of those dudes that I try to say cool things and they just sound like horrible. It's like, yes, let's get rad. You know what I'm saying? Like cool terminology from 1992. And I'm like trying to sound good. Like, hey guys, let's get rad today. Is it cool? Cha-ya. Thank you, Jason Voorhees. That's some of the best news I've heard in a long time. Better Call Saul? just finished filming. I'm so happy Bob Odenkirk is doing all right. I'm so happy we're going to get that season 6 of Better Call Saul sooner rather than later. I think they said hopefully like February 2022 or something like that. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get back to talking about that series. It feels like it's been so long. And I do know, just like any series that we talk about here on this channel, we have certain people that just check out the show just when your show is on. You know, like we got Big J, who a couple of other viewers that just come around during Better Call Saul stuff. I hope they remember us when we get back there. But anyways, Fernandez. Oh shit, that's a big one. That's what she said. This one is for you. Bananas made. Everybody, you guys are so awesome today. Thank you, Fernandez T. Woohoo! That went down too smooth. Actually, it tasted kind of good with the bananas. Makes me want a banana mama. Yummy. Yummy. But that is very exciting news that it has been verified. Verified? Hi, I'm verified for season 6. Oh, as I said earlier, in Comedians in Cars episode, he was as sharp as ever. Same on Colbert. Yeah, I saw him. Was the Comedians in Cars one where he's, I might be confusing it with the What the Fuck episode that he did, which he was also sharp as shit, where he like hung out with Norman Lear every day and they would get together and watch Jeopardy every day. Is that where he starts talking about that? Is it Norman Lear? Rest in peace, the amazing Norman Lear, who also was vital and as hilariously witty and quick right until his dying day. So I think Mel probably has a lot more time on his hands these days since his friends did. I didn't mean to make you drink so early, Judo Trop. I'm so glad you did, Fernandez T. I can't lie. You know, like as we say, I try not to disclose how much it means to us, but in this day and age with our indie small YouTube channels and how little we actually get on advertising type stuff when we do shows and shit, the fact you guys giving us those super chats are, you know, it's like giving us it's the response that we get. It's allows us to get something to further to buy new computer screens to keep the show going. You know, it's the only way we get any monetization right now on some of the stuff I do, especially again how I'm saying fuck every other word and that kind of stuff. So Fernandez T, as much as I'm like it actually means more than you fucking know. So thank you for allowing me to have a drink. Now I'm not going to drive for the rest of the day. At least for another hour. So I don't have much to do today anyway. I was originally supposed to drive somebody to work this afternoon, but they took the day off of work. I was actually supposed to leave in about 10 minutes, so I don't really need to stop this. But I'm going to start wrapping things up. I'll probably be on for another 15 minutes or so, give or take, about that sounds about right. And as I mentioned, I may be back later this evening, but I might pre-record that and release it to the patrons for the first couple of weeks and then release it to everyone later with a discussion about Only Murders in the Building with my buddy King Baby Duck. And I should be on tomorrow evening, I will be on tomorrow evening on Teflon TV between the hours of 6 and 7. Hopefully, Tony and I will be joined by another guest. I'm pretty sure that's happening tomorrow, but I don't want to say it until they say it in the chat for confirmation. But I think we'll be talking tomorrow night about what would have happened if Jaime Lannister never lost his right hand. Which should be a fun discussion and fun little reunion that we'll be having tomorrow night. And that will be somewhere within the hours of 6 and 7 whenever Tony decides to put that live. Oh, it's Carl Reiner. Thank you. It was Carl Reiner. And they were talking about how they get together every day and they watch Jeopardy at the same time of the years. And Jerry came and watched it with them and stuff. And Mel almost had the personality. Now I'm remembering it better. It wasn't Norman Lear, it was Carl Reiner, but and still rest in peace, Norman Lear. It was Mel Brooks came off as like a child in that. Like, and when I mean child, I mean like his mind was so quick and all over the place that he was like had the mind of a fucking child. A Bubba Hotep live watch along, says Jason Voorhees. I definitely know here it's one of those situations where I have this set up now. I'm going to be able to do more live watches here very soon. I'm going to put this setup is really good. I can turn the camera, face it in that direction to get my living room. I'm very excited about doing some live watches here. We haven't done those in a long, long time. I just have to invite some friends over. I feel weird doing the live watches alone. But I do like doing them in rooms full of people. So I can't wait to get back into doing some sort of stuff like that. Hopefully the first people we'll have at some sort of live watch or live viewing party of some kind will be Joe Dirtylocks and Katie Crow. I know Katie won't necessarily come on or can't always come on our after shows, especially for The Walking Dead. She's like, I don't want to take some bird shit on a show. She wants to talk about shows she loves and cares about. So we might be able to get her in a live setting on one of those live watches easier than a after show. So I need to DM you, dog. I'm shy, but don't be so nice. I'm just a dude. Nothing wonderful about me. Trust me. Thank you. And honestly, me too. I'm a fucking piece of shit. It comes out sometimes. It comes out. Don't let me fool you. Don't let this smile fool you. I'm not good people. Take it from AK and Bridge. They met me in person. They know what kind of a fucking shady fuck I am. Yeah. But no, I'm very awkward and goofy and over the top. But it is fun. I guess I didn't. I've met two of the people in the live chat in person. I don't know if there's anybody else in there that I met that checking this out at a different point in time, but I literally actually hung out with, I sang karaoke with Bridge, and AK fed me one night. And AK, we've talked about this before. AK and I helped drunk people to their car and helped take care of them. Then I ditched them. AK went the next step of being awesome and like drove them back, and helped bring them home and tuck them into bed and stuff. Me, I left them at the parking garage. I'm like, I'm out of here. Bye, guys. It was great helping you. Bye. And Bridge dragged my ass on stage to sing "Don't Stop Believin'," which was a really amazing time too. So yes. Bird shit is a compliment about The Walking Dead. The lies you tell, Phil, you're a wonderful soul, and I enjoyed it every moment hanging out with you guys as well. AK was extremely sweet, and she did. I'm not lying about you feeding me though. AK was amazing enough at the Con of Thrones that I saw her at, that she cooked for everybody and passed out like little to-go not to-go bags, like when you're at the end of a party and you take a gimme bag or whatever, what this thing's called, which she just gave us. She fed us all. She had these little like containers. She's like, everyone wants food. You want food? And she gave it to everybody that she bumped into, or most of the people she bumped into, until she ran out of food. And Bridge is literally the biggest sweetheart you'll meet in person in the world. He's just a big, lovable. I have some other word I was going to say there, but none of them sounded appealing. I was going to say a big, wonderful galoop, a big, wonderful teddy bear, a big, wonderful, like all those things you probably don't want me saying, Bridge, but I'm going to say anyway. Sweetheart. Agree. Okay, Phil said something like this on Teflons the other night too, but it's far from the truth. He's one of the few consistently. Oh, Bridge. Thank you, buddy. Don't let me fool you, Bridge. I totally touched your ass several times on stage. In AK, I'm, I took your food and I gave it to a hot girl because I'm like, see, I cooked for you, babe. I didn't really do that. I didn't do either things, but I want to be so. See, I don't know if part of it is the television and movie characters I like the most are really scummy people. Like, I love Barney from How I Met Your Mother. I love Garrick from Deep Space Nine. I love Varys and Littlefinger. People are like, Varys isn't bad. Shut up. That hurts my argument here. I really love like the deceptive, two-facey kind of characters. So because I like characters like that, I always think, maybe that means I'm secretly evil somewhere. But no, I just like living vicariously through through dramatic means. Like I enjoy in a theater show or a play or a movie or something, I like playing evil characters as well. I like when I'm singing in my band being like really an asshole, you know, and like screaming like an angry fucking douchebag sometimes or something like that. Like where fucking, I'm like, did I like reconnection successful? Sorry if I just got disconnected temporarily. I think I'm still on. Oh, I'm no big city lawyer, but I like Davos better. Just because I like Davos better because it's the one impression that works for me, right? Hey, everybody, I'm Davos. I apologize if I briefly just went off air for a second. The OBS just said, you just got disconnected, but you're connected now. So I maybe possibly just got temporarily disconnected. We're YT says, same. I love all the evil characters, like in film noir. The holes are great. Me too. I love evil, deceptive characters. Tywin, like, I must have talked over and over again on some of these what if streams about how Tywin's gonna win. Don't worry, Tywin will. So I do like the Lannisters are my favorite family. Family. I'm Harry Potter. I'm Ravenclaw. I'm not Slytherin. I'm not full on Slytherin. I'm more Ravenclaw. Every time I've taken one of those tests, it's ended up, I'm like Ravenclaw Hufflepuff combo, which is a weird combo. But my favorite Game of Thrones house is House Lannister. What is film noir? Film noir, what's a good descriptor of a modern movie that might be considered film noir? LA Confidential is a film noir movie. You could say the first, I know there's older, better examples of this, but I'm thinking about more in modern cinema that people would immediately know right off the bat. Jessica Jones, the first season of Jessica Jones, and Jessica Jones in general has a very film noir feel to it. It's like a detective darkness. There are no hero characters. Everyone's sort of shady and duplicitous. There's tenets to it that like this equals it. People correct me if I'm wrong in the chat or help answer Bridget's question in a more succinct way than I'm going to. But you've seen film noir stuff before. The video game LA Noire is all about that and the style of that. So it's very much a credit to the visual style of it, is a darker tone to it all, maybe even a washed out color tone to it, has a lot to do with film noir. Characters that don't necessarily line up as good people, and you don't see any good people anywhere. Usual Suspects, Jessica Jones is modern noir, agreed with it. Yeah. Jessica Jones is a really good example of it. Season 1 of Jessica. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood could be argued with Dick Tracy with a touch of Casino. Timo does love Jamie as well. Timo also loves Ramsey. She loves evil characters too. I don't know if she loves Ramsey and Jamie because they're evil or because they belong locked up in her basement for her to have her way with them. I'm not quite sure because Timo is generally like a sweetheart person. She cares about people. She's, works in healthcare. Like she cares about fucking people. She's like, she's probably one of the warmest people I've ever met in my life. But when she gets into talking about entertainment, she's like, she subscribes to that thing with me. It's like, in media, in television and movies, I want the most horrible shit sometimes to happen because it's not real. When I refer to a character, I'm like, this character's an asshole. Fuck this character. Kill this character. Kill this person. Kill this child. This child deserves to die. Like, I'm not talking about reality. I'm talking about fakeness. I'm talking about like I'm playing with my color forms. I'm like sitting there with my board playing with color forms and I'm saying this character goes here, this character goes there. They're not real people. Humans may play them. A real person may play Ramsey Bolton, but I'm pretty sure he's a good person. I'm pretty sure I don't want that person ripped apart by dogs. But when I'm watching Game of Thrones, I want to watch Ramsay ripped apart by dogs. I'm pretty sure Andrew Robinson is a good guy, but it doesn't lie every other word. But Garrick lies every other word, and I fucking love it. Bridge is warming up for tomorrow. Jimmy isn't evil, you sick fucking bastards. Don't fucking make me angry. Very few things can make Bridge angry. Like, I feel like Bridge and I share this affliction. Like, I don't think we get angry often, but I can imagine when Bridge would actually probably the 3 or 4 times in his life he got really angry, and he's gonna say, Phil, you don't really know me. Like, I'm getting angry all the time. But when you like let it goes, because generally you put out good vibes to the world. And I think you and I generally share that, and I think Tony as well. Like, we generally share this, like, you know, a goof. This is where you and I like the goofiness, like wacky, like, hey, everybody, you know, like that sort of vibe. And I think if the shittiness, if the anger of me came out, like when I do get angry, it takes a lot. But when I get real angry, you wouldn't recognize me. It's like, and I don't know if you're the same way, but when I get actually pissed, I'm like, I feel bad. I feel bad for the people that have to deal with me after that, because it's like, I'm just like, I turn into like a rage beast monster. Elvis and JFK teaming up to beat a demon sounds awesome. Yeah, the crazy switch sometimes. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, it's okay, it's goofy, it's fine, it's wonderful. You know, like I'm that like 90,000 times out of 10. But when it does break, and I think it breaks even worse because people expect me to be a certain way. You know, they expect me to have like oh, hey, everybody, you know, like a niceness to me, right? Or a goofiness to me, or comedicness to me. So that when I do snap, and I'm like in that mode, people are often overly shocked by it and even more put off by it, because they're like, Phil's not supposed to be like this. You're not supposed to be like this. Phil never drinks that extra cup of coffee at home. I actually drew the line at Ollie. Even I hate kids. His only fault was that he was not the hero of the story. Bridge is definitely one of the most good vibe dudes I've ever met from YouTube on the streets. You are a sweetheart, my Bridge. You know what? $15 was a really good super chat donation that makes me feel like I need to do 2. Now that I've had that one shot, I better drink another one or I'm just going to pass out. What time is it? 1:37. Oh, I was like, I'm going 15 more minutes. 20 minutes later. 20 minutes later, he's still on. He just won't shut up. Will that son of a bitch shut up? If it wasn't for you, Fernandez, getting me a little buzzed, I probably would be done. But Fernandez tea. Excuses. Toast to the good vibes of the world, and toast to all of you guys. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to start to wrap this up now. But please join tomorrow night, where the usual suspects are Tony and I, and possible guest Bridgeport are going to be talking about the amazing Jamie Lannister, and who we might have a 2-on-1 going on. I might have to be quiet for the whole thing because I don't want to bombard Tony with too much hate, because I might not be a Jamie apologist exactly, but I'm a Lannister apologist. So tomorrow night should probably be very interesting as we talk about what would happen if Jamie Lannister never lost his hand. Okay, not officially, I'll say it then. Tomorrow night, the return of Bridge 4 to the podcast. He won't be able to join us every week, but here and there we'll be able to have our buddy. We refer to our third spot. A lot of these what ifs will just be Tony and I. But we're lucky enough to be joined by the amazing Alicia last week. So if you didn't check that out, definitely check that out. We're going to be joined by Gray and R at some point in time, and also some other guests along the way. Hopefully Nim will pop in at one point in time as well, as we're going to be doing lots of stuff with Direwolf too. And maybe when we do the what if Robert didn't die, I know we're definitely having Gray and Ara on that one, but maybe the other 2 girls are more than invited as well, will join us too. And we'll absolutely have Alicia on a ton fucking more as well. Alicia is incredible, and it's fun to do these with her too, directly. And Tony and I have our own thing. We're talking about Marvel stuff. We'll probably talk about the Agatha series when that comes out. But tomorrow night, live on Teflon TV between the hours of 6 and 7, we will have the return of Bridge 4 to talk on the Usual Suspects podcast. We'll finally not be unusual, and we'll be back to the Usual Suspects. We'll have Bridge sitting in the Bridge 4 seat. And my mention was, anytime we have guests, we refer to that seat that they are sitting in. Last week, Alicia sat in the Bridge 4 seat, but we'll have Bridge 4 in the Bridge 4 seat talking about what if Jamie didn't lose his hand? So make sure you tune in to us tomorrow night for some fun discussions with Bridge4 and Tony. Will HBO still let Con of Thrones or independent cons happen? Yes, I think it will be the cons' choices if they want to keep doing those independent cons. I think a Song of Ice and Fire con is still happening, of course. Con of Thrones is the one that I wonder if they'll worry about their numbers. So I'll be curious to see if they continue this, but I would say yes, because I think what you'll get. Tony mentioned this the other night, and I agree with him. I think what you're going to get more on this one is actual media members, people like Josh Wigler and people like, some of the other people that write for entertainment magazines and all the bigger media people on these panels at the, and maybe see some of the million channel YouTube people on there, occasional YouTube people at the Vegas one. Whereas something like the Con of Thrones, you're more likely to see myself and someone in Bridge and AK and some of your creators that you're more into. I feel like the Vegas one, which I am excited to go to. I'm excited. I still have to afford it, but if I can afford it and go, Vegas is a great time. I just think it's going to be a little bit more like you're not really going to see YouTube people or podcast people unless they're really professional level type stuff like that is produced by HBO. I think you're going to see it that. So I think there's still an audience and there's still a setup for the Con of Thrones and for the lesser cons for people to get a more connected experience where this is going to feel more, again, I don't know. I haven't been to a convention, but I think the Vegas one's going to feel bigger and more like you're separated from it, if that makes sense. But I don't know. She pulls off every color spectacularly. She really does. Ice and Fire is on the calendar. Con of Thrones, though, it's a gamble still getting the stars there. Because, and AK makes an excellent point. That's the thing, because the con brings, as much as people want to hear me talk, and people want to hear Tony talk, and Gray talk, and Quinn talk, and Bridge talk, and AK talk, and, all the people that have showed up there, I'm missing people, but like all the people that have showed up to those cons talking, the tickets are sold by the stars. And if the stars don't want to come because they're going to the bigger conventions because they're paying more, then the con might end up in a problem. I think what brings people to fly to Dallas, to fly to Nashville, to fly to XYZ, Orlando potentially, is going to see the stars. Isn't going to see me. Isn't going to see Tony. Isn't going to see even Bridge or Gray. It's going to see maybe a little bit, but I think what sells the tickets is the stars. And if they can't get the same level of stars that the other ones are getting, I think their ticket sales will hurt and maybe they won't make the money that they need to make. Maybe this con will be smaller. People that are just coming to see, YouTube people or podcasters would be smaller but I think there's certain aspects of the smaller cons you won't get at this big con. Little bit of a footnote that we're in the con situation for the Vegas one is you're not going to get the independent artists that design things, because every piece of merch that is at the Vegas con, this could correct me, but I read this on the website, has to be approved and licensed by HBO. So they're going to take a cut of everything. So independent creators that don't deal with those same sort of laws and same sort of stuff at the Con of Thrones or at Ice and Fire will always have a place to want to sell their wares that are just more independent creators. So I think as long as you have independent creators, you have an audience for them, you will see those lesser cons. But I think AK is right in the sense that the Con of Thrones runs into a little bit of issues with selling tickets if they can't get the big stars. Because I think it's all about the big stars for that particular con to sell the multiples of tickets. Otherwise, you're dealing with hundreds rather than thousands of people. In my mind, I could be wrong. There could be thousands of people that want to come out and see us talk, but I think it's more to see the stars and get your pictures taken. And it's awesome that we're all there talking and stuff, and people are going to enjoy every aspect of it. And that's part of why they come, but that's not enough to make them buy a ticket and and get a hotel. That's just my opinion. I could be way off base on that one, but that's just how I feel. Con of Throne probably makes bank. I'd be shocked if they don't continue to do it through all of House of Dragons. I think if they can get the actors there and stuff, I agree. And I do think House of Dragons changes things up a little bit because it'll be easier to get some of those House of Dragons actors that aren't quite as known to the conventions, and it's going to be the prime series. So I agree with you, Bridge. I do think it will probably exist in its entirety as well. CBS took over Twin Peaks Festival officially. Yes, Phil, the issues guy, agree. Getting to Vegas will be tough for me. If I can carpool, I'll catch a train, but that's expensive as hell. It is expensive as hell. I might be able to... I'm working on affording it. I have $260 in Delta airline credits for my Orlando trip to the last Con of Thrones that I'm trying to figure out a way to use through Expedia. But every time I try to book something, it's telling me that there's a problem on their end and they can't figure it out. So hopefully what I'm going to do is use most of that money towards my tickets to get to Vegas so I don't have to pay as much to get to Vegas. Like, that's my plan. So we'll see how that works out for me. But I definitely want to try to get to Vegas just because I love Vegas. I've been there multiple times. I know a lot of the people that we're going to be going haven't been there. And I want to be, I want to be the tour guide. I want to be that person that's like, oh, we got to do this, and this has to happen. Or not has to happen, or just be there as a sort of Sherpa through the Vegas streets. Or just say fuck it and go off and do my own Vegas thing. I'm that guy that will disappear. Like, as much as, if I'm hanging out and staying with, like Bridge and Tony, like, there will be times where I'll just disappear for hours and hours because my favorite thing to do is just walk up and down the strip and drink and deal with people. So we'll see about that too. But it is going to be a fun trip, and I'm going to do everything in my power to be able to go. The networks are going to allow it, Real YT. I don't think they can stop the cons themselves from happening. I think all they can do is maybe stop some of the actors from showing up to the cons on the modern series. Because, okay, the example that I'm using to base off my mindset is the Walker Stalker Con. Walker Stalker Con made a law that actors on the show itself, or AMC made a law or rule that the actors that are actually currently on The Walking Dead can't show up to those Walker Stalker Cons. But they can't do shit about the ones that have already gone on. So Gwendolyn Christie and Nicholas Finding Waldo there. Those people, or anyone that on the original Game of Thrones series that isn't doing some sort of crossover of some sort onto House of Dragons or future HBO series that are to come out, which probably aren't many people, can show up to the cons. They can say Con of Thrones. They can advertise those things. HBO can't stop them from doing a cons. The only thing that HBO could do would be stopping House of the Dragon actors from showing up to cons that aren't produced by HBO. If they wanted to do that, that would be the only thing I think HBO could do. They couldn't do it like a cease and desist to all other cons dedicated to A Song of Ice and Fire. Maybe they could require some sort of payment because they own some sort of stock in this thing, but they couldn't stop them from doing it. In my mind, I could be wrong, but in my mind, they wouldn't have an asshole to stand on. Nikolai Costa Waldo. Yeah. Nicholas, where's Waldo? Bridge is like, listen, Phil, I deal with you saying fuck every other word, but if you're gonna mention Jaime Lannister, you will pronounce his name, the actor that glorifiedly played him, correctly, or I will fucking kill you. If you're in Los Angeles, anyone can carpool with me. Just don't be a weirdo. Fernandez, I want to be a weirdo. What if I want to be a weirdo? I'll fly to LA just to drive with you if you let me be a fucking weirdo. I'm kidding. I couldn't afford that. But it would still be fun. But that's my opinion, Real YT. I might be wrong about that, but it's hard for me to imagine that HBO could do anything but denying the actors that work for them to show up, or props or scenery type stuff. Like, you couldn't get the real Iron Throne, which you might get at Vegas Con of Thrones. The Vegas thing, we might see the actual throne used on the show there. Just like, you know, just like we'll get a fake throne at the Con of Thrones or Ice and Fire that looks a lot like it. You might actually get the real one that they use on the show at the HBO Con. But I think other than those things, there's not much they can do to stop a con from happening. You guys are awesome. Thank you for making me laugh today and keeping me entertained as much as anybody. So I think now's about as good a time as any. I've been on here. Now at this point, I'm like, I got 10 minutes to go. Let's just do 10 minutes to do 2 hours completely. Sorry about when I was asleep. Oh, no worries. Sorry, Joe just messaged me to say to explain why he wasn't here on Sunday. No, it's okay. Ooh, I just had someone ask to join. Oh, it's Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees, welcome to the Facebook group. If you haven't already and you're on Facebook, make sure you join the group Friends of Phil. It's like I'm a Grateful Dead member or it's a cult. Join the FOPs. We haven't said that term in a long time, but people that are friends and fans and lovers of what we do here, we call you guys FOPs internally, and sometimes that gets said outward as well. Friends of Phil. It sounds like a cult name. Like, hi everybody, we're Friends of Phil. We like Phil. Phil's good. But we do have a Facebook group, Friends of Phil. Make sure you join that. Usually it's just shit posting type stuff. We post random memes and random discussions, try to keep everything light and chill and fun. So if you're in unrules, I feel like sometimes you join a Facebook group, it's like, you must follow the rules. It's not like that. No, just have some fun, relax, share the silly discussions with some other friends of me and friends of the show. Are you a friend of Phil? I'm a friend of Phil. Friend of Phil. But yeah, let's go. What was it? 12:43 or 12:50? We got about 8 minutes left here. We'll do about 8 minutes left of the show to top this out at a 2-hour podcast to talk about a half an hour show. But in fairness, I barely talked about Only Murders in the Building here today, but I did recap and review and break down the whole entire episode. So I'm having fun with this babblery right now. And I didn't get a chance to do anything on Sunday with Joe, so I have extra snuff that needs to up against all over your face here. Thank you, AK. I closed my Facebook account because, and I don't blame you if people that aren't actually on Facebook. There's also a Discord group. You can find the link in the description box below. Even though everyone's jumping on the Discord thing, we were the first people to do the Discord thing. We really were. Like, I'm not even arguing. Like, we had a Discord thing like 4 years ago or something like that, thanks to some people suggesting it in the video game world. So, but we still have a Discord. It's not as rampant as before, but we still have tons of members that are different people. So I think we'll get more action there the more people that start joining again. So if you're not on Facebook or you prefer something like Discord, please make sure you join that. You can find the invitation to that in the description box below, or maybe I will let me try to see if I can copy paste that into the chat right now at some point. But make sure you do, if you haven't already, join our Discord discussions, because they can be a lot of fun. We have a lot of silly good times in those Discord groups. So make sure you join that. Let's see. Oh no, I don't want to. So sorry. Sorry, you motherfucker. Did I just snort? I did just snort. But yeah, make sure you do that. Where we go? Where is it? Where is that fucking Discord shit? Oh, here it is. Here it is, you motherfucker. I found it. So, is that it? Really? That seems very long. That seems very long. I don't know about that. I was just going to share that in the chat, but I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. It looks really ridiculously long. So let me copy that. There, right there. And let me delete this. As I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, I can just do this. There we go. There it is. There's the link to the Discord group. If you haven't already and you want to join, jump in the Discord group. It's one of the older Discord groups for these live streamy type stuff, but make sure you jump in there. All of our old FOP friends are still in there. We got that Discord group has stayed alive by the analysis of Thrones, our good buddy Sir Ulrich, and Alan V, one of our good buddies, and also Fandom D Saint pops in there a lot as well, to have kind of kept that group alive with a few other members as I got locked out of it for several months during my hiatus. But we have so many awesome folks in there, so jump and join the Discord too if you haven't already. So as I start to wrap things up, let me take one more drink for Fernandez's Tea Super Chat. I consider like $5 is each spin or each thing. So this is the number 3 shot for you. Thank you, Fernandez T, for an amazing Super Chat donation that made this show even more worth it doing. What shows do you or everyone recommend I should binge other than the shows we're talking about? There's a show that I just saw that I haven't watched yet, but it's made by a bunch of people that I really make good shows. And it's about the foundation of OxyContin. It's got like Michael Keaton in it, and it's got like a bunch of other really awesome actors in it. Joaquin Phoenix. I haven't watched it yet, but I see it advertised for me on Hulu. If you haven't watched the Wu-Tang series, Wu-Tang, an American Saga, I highly fucking recommend it. I am like obsessed with the show right now. I'm not talking about it too much, but I've always been a huge Wu-Tang Clan fan. So to see this depiction of their story in a visual means is really a lot of fun. Season 1 has a little bit more of a discount wire feel to it. Season 2 is a lot more, starts off slow, but these last few episodes of season 4, as they put together the song Protect Your Neck and get their first live show and their first like radio airplay type stuff, has been really awesome. I enjoy it. All the individual performances playing different Wu-Tang Clan members, especially the guy playing Old Dirty Bastard, destroys it. There's some rumors that that's his son. It is not his son. His son auditioned for the role as well, but did not get it because this guy is just so fucking perfect playing Old Dirty Bastard. Some of the other performances are really good as well. The actor playing Raekwon, the chef, does an exceptional job too. The kid that plays RZA isn't entirely awesome. His voice is a little off sometimes, but he still does a really good job. The guy that plays RZA's brother is incredible too. Very much accurate to the original guy. Guy that plays Method Man pulls it off really well. They don't sound rapping wise like them because they actually do rap versions of them. But it is, if you like musical movies that are biopics, if you enjoyed Bohemian Rhapsody, if you enjoyed Straight Outta Compton, if you enjoyed the Elton John movie, if you enjoy that kind of thing, I would argue that the Wu-Tang series is one of the best produced versions of those kind of things. They do a really awesome job with the series, another Hulu series. So I would recommend that to watch if you haven't watched it. I'm halfway through Made right now. It's a tough one, but we'll hit you in the feels. Final half of season 5 of Money Heist comes out in December. I show the trailer of OxyContin, which I take for my back issues. I took it as well for my kidney issues, or for my when I had kidney surgery. I have taken it as well. Survivor. We're in episode 3 tomorrow night as I watch my Survivor episodes on Thursdays. Bridge and I will be doing a podcast about Survivor, maybe at the end of the season or right before the finale. I didn't want to do week to week episodes. I think maybe we do week to week episodes on an all-star season or something like that, where we know characters as well. But I am going to do some sort of Survivor cast towards the end of the season, and I believe Bridge will be with me as well. But I'm watching Survivor this year as well. Episode 4 tomorrow night, and really good stuff so far. Especially the last episode was the first episode that felt like we're actually back in Survivor here too. So can't wait to watch the episode tomorrow night. It's after I'm like drunk and buzzed after the streams with Tony, I end up watching my episode of Survivor, and it's really a ton of fun. Great stuff as always with Bridge and I's favorite game show / reality series. So there's lots of good stuff out there right now to check out, to watch in your eye holes. But it's going to be even really exceptionally fun 2022. So everybody, to wrap things up here, tomorrow night, Bridge 4, who's in the live chat right now, and I and Tony Teflon, the amazing Tony Teflon. If you haven't subscribed to Teflon TV, make sure you do that right now. Tony's one of the best people out here, just as a person, and then one of the most entertaining humans to live stream and put out videos and stuff like that. One of the best Song of Ice and Fire YouTube people, and not just Song. I threat to just call Tony a Song of Ice and Fire person because he talks about so many different stuff, so many different topics. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my brother from another mother, Tony the motherfucking Teflon, and of course as well, Bridge 4. Two of my best friends out there in this YouTube world and just in general. I can't wait to hang out with them again in reality. But lots of love to Bridge and Tony, and make sure you subscribe to both their channels. But tomorrow afternoon, evening, late evening, tomorrow night, early evening, between the hours of 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be live on Teflon TV to talk about the next What If in Tony and I's What If series, in the Usual Suspects What If series. And we'll finally have our good buddy Bridge 4 back, sitting in the Bridge 4 seat to talk about his favorite character in Song of Ice and Fire. If that's not right, correct me, Bridge, but I'm pretty sure Jaime's one of Bridge's favorite characters in the Song of Ice and Fire, Jaime Lannister. And our topic is, what if Jaime Lannister did not lose his hand? I will be back out here on the Issues program either later this evening with King Baby Duck for a very short podcast, or on Sunday with Joe Dirty Locks to talk about some random topics in a Issues program roundabout. And then I don't know what it's going to be, but I will be back next Tuesday as well. I'm going to keep Tuesdays as this live streaming time. Maybe we'll switch this to Tuesday evenings, but I'm going to try to be out here next Tuesday as well to talk about something else, whether it be with Big Daddy Matt to do a Sopranos episode, or whether it be to talk about something else. Thank you, Bridge. Number one for sure. I love you guys. But yes, Tony is the best. Not that anyone cares, but you guys are broadcasting during a fucking Dodgers game, you assholes. I love you guys. I'll be back soon. So Sundays and Tuesdays for now will stay as the Issues program streaming days here. So I'll be back soon, but maybe back tonight to talk with King Baby Duck. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that live or pre-record it yet. We will see. But if I'm not back, thank you everyone for tuning in this week to talk about Only Murders in the Building. I'll be back next season to talk more about this show. I love you guys. Talk to you next time.